Hey guys, Tarke here, all the way over on the right hand side of the screen, and GG has recently announced that they will be announcing the announcement of the upcoming expansion on Thursday, November 16th. Now this in conjunction with a few recent events happening both on my stream that I've watched elsewhere, has really made me sort of think back to early Path of Exile. Now this is going to be a video where I just kind of ask you guys to do most of the heavy lifting, so if you're not interested in that, then don't worry, but we all get to look at Mathil's beautiful face, so there's that. So recently Blizzard announced Classic WoW servers will be coming. Now, I was kind of thinking, wow, Classic WoW, this is awesome, and for a long time I've joked about Classic PoE. Now, recently I was talking about the current state of Sunder and how I don't actually want Sunder to be nerfed going into 3.1, and I started talking about Earthquake, and we all started joking about old school Earthquake. Then Nugi recently had a coffee talk with Rise as a guest on. Hasn't been uploaded to his YouTube yet, but I'll leave a link down below. Make sure you watch Coffee Talk, guys. It's really good. And they were again kind of talking about like when would the classic Path of Exile be? Like what would be the section where if they ever did make a classic Path of Exile, when would it kind of fall into the timeline? So really all I'm kind of asking you guys is when would classic PoE be for you? Would it be right now? Would it be pre-Ascendancy? Would it be an Ascendancy launch? And then I also kind of just want to bring up this idea of if you look back at Path of Exile, people often joke and they look back to old school build of the weeks. And they laugh at how inundated the game looks and how much slower and how crappy it looks. Like, oh, the game is so silly. But just look back like 4 leagues. So going back to Earthquake and why I started this whole sort of video. So I randomly started watching this video on stream the other day when Yoji was in chat talking about Sunder, and also everything I'm showing, I have the utmost respect. These are my favourite content creators. So just, yeah, if I'm showing random clips, this isn't to be like, oh, look at this guy being... No, this is just, they're the best examples I could find when I googled Earthquake 2.2. Anyway, so, fast tracking. So I showed this footage, and we were kind of joking about how, at the time, Earthquake was considered so crazy. Earthquake was this skill which had insane AoE, it had insane damage, and yeah, it still got outscaled by other things. I think at the time Ziz was playing like Voltaxic Spark, and that was considered crazy at the time. I wish I had some footage, but he doesn't have any great footage lying around on the YouTube. But anyway, this was considered like nuts. And Earthquake's been changed, you know, substantially over the year or so that it's been out, and now sort of Sunder is currently considered the current nuts. For context, this is Merciless Zaro. Uber at Zaro didn't exist at this point in the game. We only had 3 lab runs with a total of 6 Ascendancy points. Now, even though Sunder is like the king of leveling, and Sunder is kind of a big issue right now, and just how sort of it dominates the melee space, I don't want Sunder to go the way of Earthquake, or the way of Reeve if we look back into the past. Now, I'm going to show some clips from both Niffler and Mathil. They had some of the best footage I could find of 2.2 Earthquake for general map clip. We watched some Mathil stuff earlier. Now, Earthquake, they changed a lot about it, and now you'd never really want to run Earthquake over Sunder. If you were to nerf the current state of Sunder, then we're just going to up in the situation again. Whatever's the top melee skill just kind of gets brought down a notch, and then something else rises up, so on and so forth. And if you look at Sunder, you look at Blade Flurry, and you kind of feel, oh, this is so crazy, this is that, this, that, and the other. Sunder's got really good map clear, but the single target drops off really hard endgame. My friend Kane was the top Slayer, first Slayer even, in Hardcore to get 100 in last league. Well, this league. It feels that long ago. And he did the whole thing with Sunder, right? And, you know, he's currently going, oh, what do I want to play for Turmoil? And he's like, I don't really want to do Sunder again. Now, he's currently considering doing Blade Flurry and all sorts of other options. Blade Flurry, as we all know, the 17 million DPS shaper lols. Amazing single target. The map clear on Blade Flurry isn't actually that great with the current AoE. So, you know, if it came to just like, oh, let's gut Blade Flurry's too powerful. If they were to destroy, or at least substantially nerf, the single target of Blade Flurry, why would people then use Blade Flurry? You're using something which doesn't have the best map clear in the game, and it hasn't got very good AoE, and then if you kill the single target, which is insane, in quotation marks, then kind of what's the point? And the same with Sunder, right? If you kill Sunder's AoE potential, then no one's using it for single target when it comes to endgame. So then it's just like, it's a decent leveling skill, and that's that. We don't want to be deleting old playstyles, and even though I'm someone who is very much on the delete Vol Pact, I'm an advocate of that. I think Nugi put it very well on the latest Coffee Talk, is you don't want to be removing playstyles from the game. Let's jump over to some Niffler footage now. When it comes to just, this is currently strong, let's kill it, there's ways that you can kill it without it just being completely removed as an option. And with the way that AoE currently works, and I've got multiple AoE rants recently, so I'll keep this kind of concise and short. Think, what do we actually want to be announced in the upcoming expansion? What do we kind of want them to kill? What do we want them to increase when it comes to clear speed? What do we want them to really do? We're expecting some major rehauls to the endgame mapping system, and also just kind of think, where will Path of Exile be this time next year? When we look back in 4 patches time, we'll be like, lol, look how slow this game looks. Or like, Earthquake, nice skill, Ellie Jiggle. I'm just really curious to sort of see where we're going to be at. So as I said at the start of this video, this isn't really a Tarke convinces you of something very interesting. This is kind of just a, I say a few things while I wait for an expansion announcement. But I am kind of curious, and for you guys, again, where would be classic Path of Exile for you? What is the one skill that you would kind of want to be brought back to its like pre-nerf state? What is the one skill you think should just die in its current state? But yes, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Let's wait for this next pack. Insane clear speed. Bye-bye. And I messed... When you do your outro, as someone who refuses to edit my videos, you kind of want to succinctly hit the stop recording or cut, but I hadn't pre-moved the mouse, so now we've got this little bit at the end. Bye!